Quick pre-roll. Jacob and I agreed, which means we're forcing you to do it.
Fuck off.
We're just gonna go through chronological order, meeting the big story first, and then the rest of them as they appear. There's only a few. It's fine.
We killed him.
We always kill him.
Yeah, motherfuckers, you pieces.
You can have your Daniel Warren jizz fest when the rest of us do.
Gay.
We're all gonna jizz about the same ones. This is how it almost always happens. It's just I just think it's a better idea. Anywho, recording in progress. I have to do it every time now.
No, you don't.
I want to do it because it doesn't talk to us.
This one's fantastic, though.
What? Say that louder.
This one's fantastic, though.
Okay.
Why buy a comic that might cost more than a dime? Come meet the brothers who are here to waste your time.
Welcome back to the Dime Comic Bros podcast. I am one of your co-hosts, Spencer, joined by my partners in crime.
Your main host, Collin.
Sure.
And my co-host, Jacob.
I was about to say Jacob could just be the silent partner for the whole thing. I don't think you could stay quiet long enough to do that. You'd laugh at one of our jokes. You would try, but you would.
We would just hear.
No.
You wanna go? We can start this over.
No, we would hear.
I'm just saying you would crack eventually. So this episode, we are reviewing Star Wars Darth Vader Black, White, and Red. It is a 4-issue miniseries done by, Marvel and Lucasfilm and shit. It has a bunch of different stories. It's an anthology. Wow! It takes place like 90...
Is that what it is?
Yeah! Like 90% between Revenge of the Sith and A New Hope, and then there's like 1 or 2 stories that are between A New Hope and Empire Strikes Back. So going in chronological order of the book, there is one story that is in all 4 issues, Hard Shutdown, which was written by Jason Aaron with art by Leonard Kirk. It's the only one that is like a multi-parter.
It's the first time we've seen this in these series too.
Yes.
I like the idea of splitting a story up over all 4 issues to try to tie them together and actually have like a sufficiently long enough story. But I don't think it really worked too well with this one. I didn't realize that's what they were doing. And I read the first issue. I was like, that was a dumb one. And then I realized it was connected to the next one. I was like, well, that makes it a little bit better. But it just made for sections that didn't work well.
I highly disagree. I think it was fantastic. It's a great way of putting it all together. And I think you're dumb because you didn't read the part 1 on it.
I think you're both right and wrong.
Shut the fuck up. You do that all the time.
I do. Okay, so I have a proposal, and it kind of ties in with. I was gonna say it at the end, but there's another one of these coming for Darth Maul, which I'm very much so excited for. Judging on the announcement, it sounds like there's only 4 stories, and each one is an issue. I think that's a better format.
Yes.
Because the way that they do this is to sell more issues, obviously. It's the same reason why every like DC Batman anthology book has 5 ongoing stories at the same time, so you have to buy more and more copies. I think it would be better to just have your 4 big stories, or even 8, just do 2 an issue. I liked the story in its whole. I like Jason Aaron's writing. He also wrote a really good Darth Vader run that takes place around the same time period. I just wasn't a really big fan of the art, to be honest, in this story. I thought the dialogue was really good, and
what
when
are
Darth
you
Vader,
talking about?
I didn't say it was bad. It's just not quite up my alley. But
what in the world's wrong with you?
A lot of things are wrong with me, Collin.
Oh my word! The black and white and the hatching on this is immaculate. It gives so much homage to our classic comics.
That's what my point was going to be.
Yeah, but it's fast enough.
It does feel very reminiscent of like the 70s and 80s Star Wars comics, which I like. And the moment when Darth Vader fucking uses the Force to crush like the entire facility around him while he's immobilized was really fucking cool.
Yes.
Like, they're like, why isn't nothing working? He's supposed to be asleep, and he's just fucking with them with his brain. I thought that was really cool.
Fucking with the brain.
I agree. Jacob, what
Yeah.
was the second story?
It was Inescapable, written by and arted by Peach Momoko.
I have no clue what the fuck happens in it, and I love it.
It looks so cool.
I
It's
love
basi-
her. She is fantastic.
Yes, it's basically a nightmare, a forced nightmare, and there's just such cool imagery in this story, especially the final page. Well, no, actually, before I get there, Darth Vader is in the nightmare, and his helmet isn't like the traditional Darth Vader helmet. It's a skull that looks like the Darth Vader helmet. It's such a cool idea to make it like a skull instead of just a boring militaristic face mask. And then the final page of the story is a TIE fighter, or Darth Vader's TIE fighter, that's like the main body of it is an eyeball. And it's so freaky and cool.
I love this issue so much. It is definitely my top 3. I actually think I love the helmet design for Darth Vader because you can obviously tell it's Darth Vader not just by like the shroud of it, but the skull, like his face, his mask already looks enough like a skull. Like that was, I think, an obvious intentional design back in the 70s. But how I see this comic, it is just a night fright or a some type of traumatic panic attack in the night of a basically a Darth Vader survivor.
Yeah, that's what I that's mostly what I took away from it. Was I really something that I think this story gets at that a few of the other ones don't get into as much as I was hoping for is the more psychological aspects of his force, literally like existing as the boogeyman of the Empire.
Because that's exactly what he is.
Right, like it's so fucking cool. Just so much borderline abstract imagery, and also the fact that Peach Momoko, who seemingly can only work with like organic material in pretty much all of her stuff, finds a way to make everything in this squishy and fleshy and gross. It just boggles my mind.
I also really love that it's mostly a black and white story. The red in it is there to like highlight with a freaking laser beam. Like it's so different and distinct from the black and white artwork that it's drawing your eye to the red. It's not oversaturated in red like a lot of these black, white, and blood or black, white, and red books have done. A lot of those stories just splash a lot of color on it, and it makes it hard to look at, whereas this is very specific with its usage of red, and it's really good.
The next story is Dissolution of Hope, written by Torun Gorenbeck and art by Klaus Janson, a industry vet. I was actually really disappointed in this one.
Yeah, me too.
I really like the plot line, and I like the crushing weight of Vader's presence by the end. I like that the whole thing is like, but what if he finds us? 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 And then he does, and like, he just fucking mogs them, and then they stop. But it's so black and white, and I just don't think it works well with Janson's art.
I was off-put by just the art style in general. A lot of the proportions were off. A lot of the bodies changed shape, like size, compared to the rest of the bodies, like in the room. It just looks weird. Something looks off.
Well, I mean, Klaus Janson is better Frank Miller, so, you know.
And also the coloring was pretty harsh, too.
It's weird.
It's just splotchy.
Especially because Klaus Janson is primarily a colorist these days. Like, for most of his career, he does, like, backup stuff for Frank, and he does color, and it just really felt like this one didn't use color that creatively.
Yeah. Any thoughts, Collin?
Issue bad. Just issue bad. The plain and simple. It's bad.
Okay.
Wow.
Then blah blah. Come on, fingers. So my second favorite in this book is next. It is The Endless Mercy, written by
Oh
What?
yeah.
Yeah,
So good.
told you we'd agree. Written by David Pepose, with art by Alexandro Vitti. Vader encounters aliens and fucks him up.
Dude, just hold on. I'm gonna talk to you guys for a minute. Just like this panel right here.
Oh yeah. Oh my god, yeah.
I knew
one.
that would tickle your balls.
Oh, I love that one.
This is what I was hoping most of this line would be. It's incredibly violent and gory, and oh my gosh, it's so good. Like, yeah, you get the bug creatures, whatever, but I like how much dialogue there is for a very action-focused story. Like,
Hold on.
Vader's having philosophical back and forth with like bug things. I don't know. There's something about it that just really tickled me. And despite it being completely drenched in red, it doesn't overdo the red.
I just realized how fucked up this was, and I wish I pointed out in the interview. But when I was writing fights or drawing fight scenes for the space adventure, and a huge inspiration whenever I look at for fight scenes or like fighting poses for Osius, it's Darth Vader. I use only Darth Vader references, and this and the black, white, and red Darth Vader I was using this entirely. All the issues I had, I was going through and looking at. That's what I was using all the time, and it's so funny that we're talking about it. And I had the interview in the same episode. So funny.
There are no accidents. The next story is Power, written by Victoria Ying, with art by Marika Cresty. This one was fine. Damn, that's harsh, bro. I liked the writing of it. I liked the idea of, like, what does it take for someone to actually look up to the Empire and to Darth Vader? But it comes across as incredibly juvenile. And the art just doesn't really do anything for me.
Basically, Darth Vader wrecks a town, and a kid is like, ooh, I'm scared, but then he's spared by Darth Vader. He's like, I want to be like that guy. It was kind of blah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So moving on to...
I'll save it for the end, I guess.
Moving on to Hard Shutdown Part 3.
Go for it.
It's fantastic. Everything's just caked in red, different colors. Art style, of course, like I said before, fantastic. It's just it's great. Just seeing Darth Vader go through like the smoke and shit. And then also, I do not know why, but these two panels for you guys to see, these two panels tickle my balls so much, and I don't know why.
Yeah.
I think they just remind me of like Mike Mignola for some reason. Love it.
So Collin, tell me about the next one. The one that we all knew was going to be your favorite.
Daniel Warren Johnson's. That one. That's weird. Where's the...
At the end.
Annihilated.
Oh, okay, the title's at the end. Daniel Warren Johnson's Annihilated. Bro, he's just on another level. Like, he's so messy, but the messiness works so well because his messy, like, it's like, it can bring an ominous effect, especially when he's doing such, like, harsh blacks into the space and the machinery, especially the machinery. If you get messy with the machinery, it looks like it just fits so well. Where you try to be so clean with it, it's off-putting and it doesn't look right. It just looks like a fucking blueprint, and no one wants to look at blueprints. You want to see the real deal. You want to see the shadows and everything. But just the sheer amount of action and movements, and you can just feel the life. Especially like with these anime faces, oh my word, just the freaking out, jaws wide open.
Dude, the double page widespread of the ship crashing makes me bust.
I love that
dude.
Daniel's like, fuck you, I'm putting a centerfold in a cartoon.
Yeah, dude. But I think I love, especially when I love this whole thing. But when I saw Darth Vader just land the ship and he's just standing there, and then he starts just deflecting all the lightsabers. He's like just shaking his arm
the
around.
motion that he uses, like the way that Daniel draws it is like, because light bends. That's we receive light at a certain frequency, and it looks so fucking cool.
I pointed out a certain frame dispenser. It looks like brush strokes, like paintbrush strokes, to show Darth Vader swinging his lightsaber. And it looks so cool.
Yeah. So about that, I don't know. I'm going off of a guess. So these brush strokes of the lightsaber look to be the same brush strokes as his inking. So what it could be, and I didn't do enough research into it, but what I think it is it is black ink, but it's digitally corrected to be that color, because I think it's all colored digitally.
Yeah,
it definitely is. So I think it was color corrected to be that, because that looks naturally messy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's natural looking. So that's what I think it is. But the color of red he uses, I love that.
Love his ability to take, I don't remember the fancy word for it, the sound effect words, and make it part of the artwork. Like, the big guns going boom, boom, is part of the big gun shooting the big bullet. Like, there's so much of that in these panels that just adds to the entire scene, and it just looks awesome.
I really like how physically imposing he draws Vader, despite the fact that almost all of it is from a distance.
Right.
He takes advantage of the cape so well. This Vader is a wide motherfucker. Like, he's
I love
a brick
that
shithouse.
And this is why I started using Darth Vader as reference, because my guy's a wide boy, and I looked at Darth Vader just in his cape. I'm like, that's literally how I draw Osius. I have to use him as reference now.
It's so good,
and then
especially
just seeing how he moves and
especially the final panel, when it's like, oh, status report, and it's like, because the whole story is like, we need to crush this rebel group, whatever, and then Vader's like, yeah, I'll do it myself, and then he goes down and does it, and they ask for a report, and like, just the finality of his words of just, it is done. And the pose that he strikes with the cape billowing with the red undertones, like absolute like fucking perfection. I would get that. I would plaster that on my wall.
Yeah. No, I want that like an actual piece, and I would put that above my bed, and I would probably pray to it every night.
I'm sure. I think it also conveys a level of, I don't know, there's something with Darth Vader that I think a lot of writers gloss over or don't really understand all the time. It's really easy to make him like a masochist, because, I mean, he kind of is. But I really don't think he is. He's a vicious monster, obviously. But there's something about, like, even with his flair for dramatics, I'm surrounded by dead men, like all that shit. There's something most of the time when a writer really pinpoints it down, like he's getting the mission done, and he just doesn't have a way out, because that's the position that Palpatine, with the full picture in mind.
Stuck.
He can't do anything else other than do what needs to be done, because he's literally stuck in a machine that can be turned off at any moment by his boss. His boss fucking hates him. His boss wants him to die, and they made the suit to make him suffer. So, like, there's something about that, like, calm sadness to it that's very melancholic, that really connected with me.
He is the most pitiful character in all of Star Wars. That was something that was... George Lucas was... As much as people always shit on him, or they say he's, like, the best in the world, one thing I will give him is that he always wanted Darth Vader to be the like archetype of the most pitiful man in existence. That is his whole point, and people forget that. Like, yeah, he can do all these cool things, and yeah, he's a badass, but he's a sad, lonely, broken man.
I think that's something that also connects, to bring it back to Andor for a second. That was one of the reasons why I really liked Cyril Karn so much, and I hope they continue to write him well into season 2, is because for the most part, like, the face of these sorts of fascistic movements aren't like cackling like maniacs. They're a bunch of depressed, lonely people who have nothing else.
They're all like, if you write them correctly,
losers.
If you write them correctly, they're just real people. Real people. Like, if you were stuck, if this stuff happened in our world, which a lot of times it does, but not like space. Our world, there's like very few of them that are actually like cackling, like loving this. Some of them are just stuck because of their own government or their military, and they're just stuck into doing this.
Yeah, that was just a strong connection that I made. I don't know, this one that panel especially like really connected with me. I can't get much beyond that.
Meaning we have to move on.
Yes. The next one is diplomatic immunity.
Take it away because
impunity.
I can read.
Yep.
Written by Mark Bernardin with art by Stefano Raphael, I think is how you say that name. This one feels very digitally to me, which is a non-word that means nothing. I like the story, was the biggest thing I took away from this. The art is fine. It doesn't bother me. It just doesn't have anything that really appeals to me.
I hate the art. It's trying to look realistic, and I hate it.
They're kind of, yeah.
Some of the shots look really cool. I find it more 50-50. Sometimes it's like, ooh, that looks really good, and sometimes I'm like, I don't know.
I think it's framed well. Like, it's framed like it's being shot like a movie, which is cool. But you need to have that can't be like your only substance. But the thing that I did like about this was the fact that Vader brings along some Imperial piece of shit who's a traitor and is like just tricks her into coming to the annihilation of her own family. I really liked that because Vader is cruel. Just to counter my own point, he is still a cruel fucking monster. Like, the level of, I don't know if he necessarily enjoys it, but like, he will come up with the most fucked up way to punish you. And I really liked that for this story. I just wish it had more artistic bones to it. The final panel's a banger, though. Because he's got that big spaceship in his eyeballs.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then we have Hard Shutdown Part 4. I echo all my previous comments. My third favorite story. The Inhabitant.
Dude.
Written by Steve Orlando with art by Paul Davidson.
Okay, so you know how I said I had a top 3? I lied. I have like a top 4 because this one is right fucking on there. This thing is fucking amazing, especially when you get into Darth Vader just caked in blood, and it's like almost looks fiery.
Yes.
Like, oh my word. Why hasn't anyone done that sooner?
The opening shot is Darth Vader being a sad boy standing in the ring. Which,
yeah.
Mood.
Mood. That cut out entirely.
We haven't leaked that yet. Well, we've leaked it twice.
Dude, 1 billion people have done that already on the internet.
We haven't released it yet. The first frame, though, has the rain not only dripping off of Darth Vader, the sad boy in the rain, but it also has it steaming off of his lightsaber, and it looks so cool. It's such a cool little touch, and I like it.
I agree.
It reminds me of my favorite saber fight in all of Star Wars, the Anakin versus Asajj Ventress fight from Clone Wars 2003.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
The one in the rain where he gets the scar and shit. That's technically non-canon, but it's canon in my mind. You can't take it away from me. Like, the amount of cackling rain, like acidic energy going on in that fight is fucking amazing. That's what that reminds me of.
So something I want to point out about art, and here's like a little nugget of like what makes me like art or not like art. There's this thing that I call it artifacting, and I call it that because I heard it from another artist. Artifacting. It's where you have your piece, right? But you have like maybe a random ink blot somewhere, or you have some like extra not just extra textures, but like extra penciling or something.
It's film grain, but for comics.
It's your leftover stuff. It's stuff you haven't erased, or you can even put it in. So the first panel of this issue, you can look off to the right. There are like 3 red dots. That can be considered as artifacting. I mean, even the lightsaber doing its thing, even though it's supposed to be doing that because it's literally what's happening, that can be considered artifacting. And those things I fucking love. I love that. That's what makes it good, really, really interesting art. And people need to be doing more of that. Yes, people need to be doing that more often.
It makes it feel like it's not as sterile as super duper digitized bad art can feel.
Salvador LaRocca.
But
So-
also it's not technically a mistake, but you can put it in giant finger waving apostrophes like it's mistakes in the artwork that don't belong there, but it makes it feel like it was made by a human.
But also it kind of feels like it does at the same time. It's a weird concept. Someone else explained it better. I'll probably link it on my Instagram or something. But an example for you guys that like you two that can actually see me. Like this, the issue before, there's no artifacting at all. It's all like flat, which is good. It can work. But it's just
it looks more like it was like bucket filled.
Right. You should use more artifacting.
Yeah.
Moving on.
Another part of the Inhabitant that I really like is that it uses Vader with the red lenses, obviously just for color's sake, also because it's canonically accurate at the time. But the red lenses are just way cooler. But this whole thing is basically him fighting a fucking infection. It's so weird.
It's like something is infecting him, but it's also a mind struggle, and he's trying to suss it out through the force or his mind or something while he's in a Bacta tank.
Yeah, he goes to a planet, he gets a little drop of jizz in him, and then the jizz is like, I am the eternal jizz monster, you will bow to me. And then Vader's like, no. And then they fight for many, many pages. I like the jizz monster's design. It feels not Star Wars, and that's why I like it.
Yes.
It feels like an actual, like...
It looks like a Predator, kinda.
Kinda. It feels like a George Lucas if he actually did midi-chlorians type thing, because that was his end game, was like, what if there were little things inside the little things? And, like, that's kind of the vibe I get. It's just so heavily organic. And the sheer amount of blood in this one is fucking insane. Ugh. There's so little to even say about it. It's just like, it's just so good.
I really like the look of Vader's body suspended in the Bacta tank. It's like a reverse shadow, I guess. The upper torso is heavy in shadow, but then like the remainder where his hips and legs should be, it just kind of trails off and becomes Bacta.
It's so we can't see his balls.
It looks really weird, but it looks really cool too.
This panel tickles my taint.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. That's the one that made me go, I think this is the best one of these books they've made.
I like the look of this next one.
Then take the book.
Oh.
Bookend this bitch.
Return to Hoth, written by Frank Thierry and arted by Danny Earls. I don't even remember the story, to be honest.
He fights some wampas.
Oh, yeah.
He gets fucked up.
Gets gangbanged by a couple of wampas and, like, almost dies. They scratch the breathing apparatus on his chest, so he's, like, choking to death as he's fighting these things off. I don't care. It looks cool. The art is incredible. This is the not perfect art that Collin was just talking about. The ship isn't, like, perfectly symmetrical, but it's colored so well. And
a lot of gradients.
It feels like it's got the charcoal rub. It feels physical. I want to touch it. It looks so good.
I want to get gangbanged by 15 wampas.
I'm sure you do.
What the fuck, Spencer?
Dude, the fact that this is the final story is incredibly funny. It's just like, what if Vader went to Hoth because he was mad and then got fucked up by a bear?
This has the artifacting that Collin was talking about. Look at this panel, Collin. The second frame on the left, like above his cape, it's a shadow in the skyline, but it feels like someone fucked up the charcoal trying to work on his cape, and it fits in. It blends.
Yeah, no, there's artifacting fucking everywhere in this.
Yeah, it looks awesome.
You can see it in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The fifth panel down on that same page. If you look up near the light and you see the snowy stuff drawn, you can see a bunch of these weird curves in there, like very faint pencil curves that can be considered artifacting as well. Most of the time, artifacting is on purpose, but that stuff is like accidental artifacting, which is fantastic.
Yes.
I think this one would be in my top 4, maybe top 3. It's hard to that's my general conclusion with this book.
This book is the best out of all the black, white, reds ever.
Yes.
There's no debate. If you say there's a debate, you're stupid.
Even though in some of them I think there are stories that I like more, they're a lot more up and down. I think the last time we talked about it, we were describing like different ways to chart the level of quality between stories, because one book is a constant down and one's a constant up and whatever. This one has a couple of ones I don't love, but none of them feel really bad, and a lot of them are fucking like they're dripping in barbecue sauce, like finger licking good ribs.
Yes.
I was planning to cut out the part where you call out a bad artist, but it turns out I was going to do the exact same thing. I was going to be like, I don't like this cover. It shouldn't have been in the book, and it's by that guy. So,
well, my particular reason for calling out, I will do this publicly on the show, Salvador LaRocca is a talented artist, but as time goes on, frankly, he's getting lazier and lazier, and in the most recent book he's working on, the adaptation of the Obi-Wan Kenobi show, he's doing the laziest tracing of frames from the show I've ever seen in my life. Like, tracing is fine to an extent. He's always done it a little bit. His Darth Vader run had some of it, and it was fine. It just wasn't very interesting. But this one, legit, he's forgetting to erase the image underneath the tracing. It's disgusting. Like, it's almost worse.
That's being accused of AI, right?
No, it's a different one, but it's in the same tier of like, dude, do you even like comics? What the fuck is wrong with you? Especially because nobody's in demand for the Obi-Wan Kenobi TV show adaptation graphic novel. Like, I'll read it if it's fine, but I really don't want to touch it now because it has really disgusting tracing on it. Like, that's why I said it, because that is like that's a very public backlash problem right now. It's like, dude, what are you doing?
Okay, so my top 4 is Inescapable, The Endless Mercy, Annihilated, and The Inhabitant.
Yeah, same.
Easily.
You can probably move them around, but yeah, same. All those 4 all hit in like the same spot in my brain.
And my number 5, if I had to choose, it could be any of the like hard shutdowns. It might be number 3. But,
what do you think of the last variant cover, the very last page?
It's good. It's not my favorite, but it's good.
I dig it. It's pretty good. It's by Tony Daniels. Most of the variant covers for this one, I think, are also pretty good.
Yes.
I think I like Kevin Eastman's better.
Really?
Let me see. I vaguely remember Kevin Eastman has such a very. Oh yeah. No, Kevin Eastman's such a weird guy.
That's why I like him.
Yeah, I like it. I wouldn't put that as the main cover on a book. But holy shit!
Not.
It's got such a vibe.
My favorite page of the. Not of the book, but like one of my favorite pages is literally just like the first one that's got it's like the very first page. I don't think that's not even a cover. It's just like the inner cover.
Yeah, that's a panel from
I know it's a
Shutdown
panel,
3, I think.
But I just love that.
Yeah.
I don't think I have a favorite cover.
This book is $30. It's in the Treasury edition. I say worth it, finally. Out of
Absolutely
all the
worth it.
black, white, and red or bloods, this one's very much worth it.
Definitely
Probably one
worth
of the
cover
only
price.
one that is.
And I got this bitch on sale at Bull Moose for $20. And Collin borrowed mine.
Aren't you a cool guy?
I am a cool guy. I am following the Dime Comic Bros motto of being a broke bitch.
For the first time ever.
Pretty much. I have the pee. I can feel the pee coming out of my pee.
Out of your balls?
Spencer just pissed on my floor.
I believe it.
There's a trail of drips.
He is a snail.
Alright. Collin!
Yep.
Talk to us about one of your 2 talking points.
Alright, let me grab the issue.
Do it. Grab my balls while you're doing it.
No. So, last week, I talked about The Nice House on the Lake, and what was the second one I talked about? Do you guys remember?
I think you answered some random bullshit question.
No, he definitely talked about something. Oh, it was no, it was a stupid freaking anime on Netflix.
Okay, cool. So sick. I'm going to be talking about for like the next ever until I finish all these. I'm going to be talking about indie artists comics that I picked up at the IndieCon I went to in Connecticut. The
It
first
was
one
you talked about like eating in my sex dungeon or whatever.
Yep, I remember that now. But the first book I'll be talking about right now is Bellringer. Bellringer is written by my buddy Jake, Jacob White. I can't remember his last name. Oh, Jake, why would you do this? I hope you listen to this. Your name's not anywhere on the book. Why are you a silly boy? I have to give him a ring later. So, anyways, The Bellringer is I don't know how many pages, but it's a little short comic. Not short, but actually it's not even a short comic.
Floppy.
The Bellringer is a comic written and drawn by Jacob White, edited by his wife, and it's a story following this little bell knight who has no song. Like he's either can't or he refuses to make any noise, and he is going through this world. It's really weird. He is like the size of like a little. He's trying to find his boy that owns him. So it's kind of like got this like Toy Story element to it, but it's mainly, as far as I can tell, and from our conversations, it is inspired by like Dark Souls, and it's got this like Dark Souls aesthetic, and a bunch of these like birds create this like monstrous like mass bird with like 5 heads, I believe, and he's escaping these birds as well as other creatures that he encounters, like one that's underneath the waterfall, and you get to see these just giant lands. Like a lot of these pages are like spreads of him. There's like one of our Bell Knight on a little leaf on a river going through this like forest, and you got this weird humanoid being like reaching out from a part of the tree, and it's got like no head, it's cut off, but it's got this weird singular eye on its left pec. It's got some weird stuff to it, and I really dug it, and I love it. He's just fun. It's fun, and it's a little dark, and it's a little sad. It's like right up my alley. I love this book, this issue. He's supposed to be making another one, I believe, soon. He's got like a plan up until like 2027, I think.
Jeez.
Yeah, bro's got some cooking to do. But we really hit it off at the convention, and this is like the first indie book I wanted to talk about because I spent most of my time talking to him. Great guy, great comic. Everyone should read it at Bellringer Comic on Instagram.
I was about to say, I was just going to do it at the end. If you just link me each week as you talk about these things, if you just link me their stuff when we're done recording, I'll plug it.
Sick.
So you don't have to use your words.
How much money did you spend on this issue?
Me? I got it for free.
You are a cock and ball.
Riz.
I got it for free because he came around with these little like small comics, like this little short he did of a Bell Knight, and I read it and was like, oh, this is so cool. Like he came by real quick, it's like, hey, I have a table out here, and I just wanted to give you this. They like gave it to like, I can't remember if it was all the artists or just some of the artists like he really liked. Because he came up to my little like table and he really loved my cover. He came up. It's like, hey, here you go. And I looked at it. I'm like, oh, this is so cool. I was like, damn, this is so cool. I'm going to draw a little Bell Knight for him. I'm going to draw him for him. And I came up to his table. I was like, hey, I really liked you, like, your little issue. Here's this. And he's like, oh, bro, this is so fucking cool. I'm so happy. He's like, hey, here you go. Just take it. Just take it. And he gave me the book. And we traded. I gave him my book. And he gave me one of these. And I think it's about $10, but I got it for free.
All in Riz.
Imagine getting bitches like Collin gets comic books.
True.
Dude, it's crazy. It's crazy.
Speaking of getting bitches, Jacob.
Oh, you're gonna give me that segue? Come on, son. Fine. I read the 3 issues of Black Widow, Pale Little Spider. It is part of the Marvel Max series.
Oh, dear God, no.
You gave me the shitty transition.
No!
Sit in your corner of shame. Written by Greg Rucka and art done by Igor Cordy. Collin, what is the life advice when you don't have anything nice to say?
Don't say anything at all, or just go.
I'm just gonna completely shit on this comic.
If it's a big 2 comic, you can shit on it.
The art is terrible, and the story is even worse. It doesn't follow Natasha Romanoff. It references her, but this follows the other one, Yelena.
Yes, Mommy.
And they're not sisters. They're just co-workers.
Yes.
And Yelena is upsetted by the fact that a general in the Black Widow Society is killed. So she knows that he frequented the local sex shop. So she goes to the local sex shop and talks to the sex workers. And it turns out it was a whole situation created by the Black Widow Association. They actually killed the general, but they wanted to know how she would react to some stupid shit. And it was awful.
This book sounds rapey. Is it rapey?
There was a lot of imagery and that could have been a thing, but nothing really happens as far as I remember. I don't know. I was a little bit twisted that night, and it didn't do anything. It just, look, we're in a sex shop. We're in an R-rated comic book. Isn't this fun? Nothing really happened.
Was there a Hulk dildo on the wall, though?
Nope.
Damn. Well, I'm out.
There was a guy hanging from a cross with a ball gag getting whipped.
Ooh. Directed by Zack Snyder.
I did not have fun. I got this for $6 digitally on Kindle, and I'll probably never read it again. It got 1 out of 5 stars.
Oof. That's rough.
Bad.
The Deadpool Marvel Max stuff was rapier than this.
That was really rapey. I do not want to go back to that conversation ever again.
Nope.
I remember it distinctly. Not a fan.
Your turn. See, that wasn't a shitty segue. Take notes.
No. I read Azrael, Death's Dark Knight. This is a part Fallout miniseries tie-in thing to the Battle for the Cowl time period. So this is when Batman was killed by Darkseid, but actually time traveled because reasons.
Where were you when Batman was killed?
Superman was singing a song, but that's not the point. Final Crisis is a banger of a book. But Batman go poof, and all the Bat children are like, no, Dad wanted to give me the car.
True.
And I don't know how this ties in exactly, because this is not following John Paul Valley, the Azrael that everybody knows about. It's just another guy. It's really weird. So this is another dude who has been indicted? Not indicted.
Indicted.
That doesn't sound right either.
No, indicted was right.
Whatever. He is induced.
Whoa.
Induced?
No, indicted was right.
He's part of the frat now. He got the hazing. He's another one of the guys that could get the thing.
Inducted.
Yeah, that's what I was looking for. Inducted. He's another one of the inductees into the Azrael program. I don't even remember his name. I think it's John. He was a cop, I believe. This one was weird. Sorry, his name is Michael. Michael Lane is an ex-police officer that was recruited to take part in a secret program to train in place for Batman, but was drafted by the Order. Basically, Gotham was like, but what if Batman died? We should make our own Batman. And then he was one of those guys. But then the Order of Saint Dumas said, nah, you're with us. You know, the Bloods and the Crips, you know how it goes. He's a little kooky. cop, PTSD. He's got all that stuff going on. And the two factions are fighting over his suit of armor, which is not the normal Azrael suit of armor. This one looks fucking sick, too. It's more white and silver looking. It's a little bit less Azrael 90s grunge, whatever the fuck that suit is, which I love. This one actually looks like a knight's armor. So it's just the introduction to this character. It's a 3-issue miniseries, and it was preceding another series, which I'll eventually cover, which I think went up to 18 issues. That was him just getting his own spin-off series during this time. It was fine. I read this yesterday, and I'm really struggling to remember much of it. It was written by Fabian Nicieza, I think is how you pronounce their name. The writing was fine. The dialogue was fine. It just didn't really go anywhere with the 3 issues. It was really just like establishing the conflict, more like an issue 0, like another book I read this week that I wasn't going to talk about. Like, here's an upcoming miniseries, and then like here's a little sneak peek so you know what's going on. But it was 3 issues, and that's a lot. The art by Fraser Irving was really good. It wasn't jaw-dropping by any means, but I'm a sucker for anything with flames on it. I'm a 10-year-old boy, what can I say? And Azrael is one of my like pet characters that I like that nobody else seems to, so I was into it. I picked this up at Stairway as the complete set for this. It was like $8 or $9, which is fair for the 3 issues. I also purchased the follow-up miniseries that comes along with this, which I will be reading and reviewing eventually. I'm a bit disappointed. It wasn't bad, and it wasn't even mediocre. I just don't really have any notes, which is the worst thing for me. I hate not having anything to say about something. It's a known problem. I wouldn't not recommend reading it either. It's just kind of don't read it without reading the follow-up miniseries, basically. Like, contextless, it means nothing. Mer.
Silly.
Constern.
So I read Ian Cinco's Neon Spring, issue 0. He is Ian Cinco, which I hope I'm pronouncing it right, because this guy is a great dude. Had a really good conversation with him at the convention. He wrote and illustrated the book Neon Spring, which is about a limo that lobotomizes rich people.
What?
And it's set in the future, like way future, and the concept is this, from what I can tell, it's like a this weird futuristic biker gang, and there's a baddie part of them. There's a baddie, like.
Oh, she a baddie.
She a baddie, and
both, they're both baddie.
Yeah. So Ian Cinco draws amazing women. This is what made me want to buy this issue at first, of course. And the other woman is like a sex worker, and they hire the sex worker to entice this rich person into this lobotomizing car. And I believe the sex worker is a android as well, and they're hoping that she works because the last robotic sex worker that this rich person had, he killed. Also, the rich person is Donald Trump. It is Donald Trump.
Oh my gosh!
It is blatantly Donald Trump, and I absolutely
awesome.
love it because I looked through him like, oh my gosh. Also, his dick is out. Like, there's full-on tits and dick in this. And he has a tiny little pencil peen, which is hilarious. We do
know, canonically, in the real world, that he does have a tiny little pencil pee-pee.
Yep. And so, basically, the car's talking to him, and he's like, go faster, car, blah, blah, blah. I wanna fuck this fucking thing. I wanna fuck this robot. And then he gets straddled up by the car with, like, these weird robotic tentacles, and he's wrapped up, and he's stuck in the car and everything. He's tied up, and then what happens is there's like a little laser incision going onto his forehead, and then a giant glass sheet cuts him right in the head. And they take his brain out and replace it with a robotic brain for unknown reasons to me at this moment. Probably some weird political shit. But yeah, this is the comic. But one of my favorite panels is the hot biker chick. She is doing graffiti on the car, and it says, "This car neutralizes douchebags."
Nice.
But yeah,
that's a play on this machine kills fascists.
Okay. See, I didn't catch that.
Yeah.
But I want to read this book more, and the women he draws are hot.
This is the weirdest smut book I've ever heard of. But the one thing that makes me say 0 out of 10, big plot hole, there's nothing in his head to lobotomize because he's already brain dead.
But the boobies, though. Boobies.
Abs and boobies. Rare
Abs
combo.
and boobies. There's just a lot of boobs in this entire comic. It's fantastic. Ian, you're great. You're a great dude. Yeah, fantastic comic. Can't wait to read
Ian,
more.
you're a great dude. You draw a great tit.
Yeah, you draw great tits, dude.
Yes.
Is it my turn?
Yes.
Yes. Your turn.
It's my turn. I'm not gonna get a turn. Spencer's gonna overtake my turn.
No.
I read the Annihilation Omnibus. It includes 4 issues of Drax the Destroyer, the Annihilation Prologue, and then the Annihilation flavored runs of Nova, 4 issues, Silver Surfer, 4 issues, Super Skrull, 4 issues, Ronin, 4 issues, the Annihilation run, which is 6 issues, and then Annihilation Heralds of Galactus 1 and 2. It's a really big space adventure, and it was fun. I love trying to melt Spencer's brain. Drax the Destroyer is lost. He's not part of the Guardians. He's doing his own thing, and he gets paired up with a kid. That's actually how I got into this a little bit. We were reading the Guardians omnibuses, and we read the one before this, and then after this, and he's paired up with the kid, and I was like, I wonder where this kid came from. Oh, it's Annihilation. So I went back, and I read Annihilation, and I still don't know where it all ends up. It goes, or whatever. Like, there's a kid with Drax, and it's cool. Okay. The Nova flavored Annihilation was good. It shows Annihilus showing up and wrecking shit. He blows up the Nova Corps, and the Nova that we know, the Richard the Rider.
The Rick Rider. Dick!
I work so hard to avoid Dick Rider, and you just go right there.
But they named him that.
It's Richard Rider.
But they call
Dick
him
Rider.
Dick sometimes.
Dick Rider.
They usually call him Rich.
Because he's Peter's Dick Rider.
Anyway, he sucks up all of the Nova Corps into his big brain. All of the supercomputers that the space cops have. He sucks up the Nova Force and contains it until he can expel it somewhere else, or else he's gonna melt from being so smart. That was fun. The faces in this run were a bit rough, though. They did not look good sometimes. But everything else looked really cool. Hold on. Silver Surfer was kind of messy. It gets mixed up in Annihilus's killing gang, and I'm pretty sure this is the one that brings in a bunch of other dudes that were also the Silver Surfer before or after the Silver Surfer. They have Galactus's power, and it's all lore heavy, and I didn't know there were Silver Surfers besides the Silver Surfer, so it didn't mean a whole lot to me, and I kept skimming to the end. I was like, wow, looks cool. Silver Surfer, good, but I don't know these guys. And then it just became a bunch of dudes I didn't know fighting a bunch of dudes I didn't know. Super Skrull was bad. I did not like how it looked. I didn't care about the Super Skrull. He goes on an adventure with a kid that's also a Skrull, and he's fighting other dudes, other alien dudes. And again, it was the same thing of like, I don't care about this guy, and I don't care about the dudes he's fighting. This one, I legit didn't even skim. I was just like, this is a bad run. Sorry. The Annihilation run. Oh, no, sorry. There's Ronin. This read was a chore. I had fun, but it was very lore heavy, which is why I think you, Spencer, like it so much, because you know all of the wiki things. But I don't know a lot of these people.
This is what this book is actually why I started becoming a Wikipedia.
Yeah.
Was because of Annihilation, the event.
It's cool. It's awesome that this series cared about its lore so much, but it's heavy. Ronin is not the Ronin the Destroyer. He's Ronin the Accused. He's had his destroyerness taken away from him. He's not recognized by... Maybe I'm backwards. I don't know.
The Kree said, you're sus. We don't like you.
We don't like you. And he was framed for a crime he didn't commit, so he calls the A-Team to right his wrongs. Just kidding. He beats the shit out of people, just like his old job, to prove that he's still loyal to the cause or whatever. Gamora's in here. She's wicked hot. She doesn't wear much of anything. Many ass shots. And they fight and have the gay sex. It's true. Everything I'm saying is true. Look at that. Oh my gosh.
I just love it when the stupid things that one of us says
spreads
to the other ones. It's very funny.
It's contagious.
It is very contagious, you gay bastards.
Now eat my ass.
You twist my tail.
Herm.
The Annihilation run itself is very cool. It turns out that Galactus is getting sucked off and turned into a car battery, and the heroes of the story have to figure out how to stop getting him from getting milked, and
they're going to put him in a car battery and throw him in the ocean.
He's getting milked like a turtle in the latest Turtle movie. They're using the Galactic Force.
What turtle movie are they milking?
Mutant Mayhem, remember?
They were getting milked.
So anyway, the heroes have to save Galactus from getting milked, and he comes back pissed because he was getting milked, and he helps the heroes stop Annihilus, because if anybody's gonna eat this world, it's gonna be Galactus, not Annihilus.
It's true. Galactus is indeed hungry, and Annihilus is a pussy.
No, he's a big space warp. I love how ridiculous Annihilus is. That's... This series, this run is so serious and deadpan. It looks you dead in the eyes and says, a caterpillar takes over the world. And it wants you to be scared. It's so funny.
God, I love Marvel Comics.
One day this caterpillar will become a beautiful butterfly. But for now, he's milking Galactus and taking over the world.
What the fuck is this?
Jacob
like
is paraphrasing very heavily, but the point stands.
The last two issues were lead up to fallout of the Annihilation, or whatever the next stage was. I didn't care. I skipped it.
It's another good omnibus you'd probably enjoy. Just saying.
Infinity?
No, Infinity's a different event.
Ugh.
No, it's there's another. If you look up Annihilation Omnibus, there's another one. It's like a companion that takes place after it. It's smaller.
I was really interested by the destruction of the Nova Force. I was super taken, smitten. It scratched my stinky taint because I wanted to know what the Marvel Universe.
My stinky taint.
I wanted to know what the Marvel Universe would look like doing a cop commentary and wiping out the space cops, or even like throwing shade on its competition, the Green Lantern Force, which comments on itself in its own run anyway. But still, I wanted to see what fell out from that, and it was more Ronan the Destroyer or Accuser or whatever being a hero, and Galactus being like, no, this is mine, piss off, big space worm, and Super Skrull doing Super Skrull things. It was a lot. It didn't go. It zigged when I thought it would zag, and I was a little disappointed by that. But overall, this is a really cool omnibus. I got it for half price. So it's $125 cover price. Half of that is 60-ish. That's what I got it for.
Damn, Jacob really is the dime comic bro.
He is. He is the only bro. But can you be a bro if there are no other bros?
Then everybody's a bro.
Do you exist if there's no one else?
Yes, it's called there's a fucking theory for that. It's Sinolopolis or whatever it's called. What is it? It's gone. Moving on.
What is bro if not sister becoming?
I'll be back real quick. I gotta take my estrogen pills.
Dude, I gotta use that. What is bro if not sister becoming?
I don't even know what it means. It's so stupid.
No, it's perfect. It's perfect. I'm gonna use it. It's perfect.
Stupid.
What is bro if sister not becoming?
I am always trying to reword that meme from WandaVision, and I just can't get the right.
What is bro if he not be gooning?
Stupid zoomer words. All right, Spencer, wrap us up. What do you got?
Collin's gonna get mad at me.
Mike Mignola did a bad book.
Nope. I committed an anime/manga heresy.
Seppuku. Not yet.
I watched a live-action adaptation before I read the manga or watched the anime.
Bro.
One Piece?
No.
What the
Avatar.
fuck is
No.
wrong with you?
Hold on, let me get to it.
Death Note.
No. Although that would be another good one to do for the meme because that movie is so horrible.
It's so terrible.
So Yu Yu Hakusho is one of the premier, long-standing, like this is when like shonen anime, shonen being for like teenage boys basically, got like good and popular at the same time. It is written it's written in art by name Akira Mori. Nope, that's wrong. I'm stupid. Whatever. It's like it's the guy who did Hunter x Hunter before he did Hunter x Hunter and became a bit less sexist, basically.
It's
like
Yoshihiro Togashi.
Thank you. He's also married to the lady who does Sailor Moon, which is adorable. Basically, it's like Yu Yu Hakusho is a 16 or 18 book long manga about a boy who dies and becomes a supernatural detective and saves the world from ending and does a lot of fighting, basically. I can't get paper copies of the manga right now in stores because it's a little older. It was made in the 90s, so they're not currently printing it, and I haven't bought it online yet. I'm going to soon. It's really good, aside from some weird, very dated stuff that most people have dissected by now. But like it's like one of the ones you start with. It's on like that pinnacle of it's done. So, there's an ending. The the anime that premiered in the late 90s and early 2000s was like the biggest manga. Oh my gosh, words. Start that all over. The anime from 90 to 94 was like the biggest fucking thing. Like this is like Pokemon craze before Pokemon. It was the biggest, most influential. Like if you watch One Piece, Naruto, Dragon Ball, they all of the new or newish stuff takes from Yu Yu Hakusho and the stuff that it establishes. It is the trope incarnate. And that's cool, and I want to read it, and I'm going to get to it. And apparently, the anime is also very good. Netflix made a 5-episode miniseries version of it, and I heard it wasn't actually that bad. So I thought, fuck it. Let's do some heresy and do it backwards. Just this once, to piss some people off. And it was pretty good. Hate to say it. So it actually came out late last year, December of 2023, right before the One Piece Netflix live-action adaptation came out and stole all of its thunder, because that one's actually okay. This got, like, no marketing, no advertisement. It just kind of happened, and everyone forgot about it. Condensing a book series that is, like, the equivalent of, like, 2,000 pages into 5-hour-long episodes is the most retarded idea you can have. And the show demonstrates that with its absolutely god-awful, abysmal pacing and cutting out very key elements of the series that you would know even just by watching the live-action bit. You're like, some shit's missing here. This doesn't quite make sense. I don't know why they did it this way, but they did. But the fights are really good. The acting is mostly good. The costuming's pretty solid. And the special effects are fine for being on a pretty low-budget Netflix production. I hate to defend the thing. Like, this is an immortal sin. Anime and manga should not be made into live action, period. It's just a dumb idea. But if you want 5 hours of pretty entertaining fights with monsters and demons and a boy in high school kicking butt and being depressed, it's pretty entertaining.
I hate you.
I know. So does my boss. Yu Yu Hakusho is my boss's favorite anime and manga, and I told him about this, and he got so fucking mad. I thought he was gonna write me up.
He should have fired you.
He thought about it. It's not amazing by any means, but in terms of all of the live-action anime that I've seen so far in its totality, it's at the top of the list. Because it was watchable, it was fun, and it looked at least okay, and at best, there's some pretty good fights in it. It wasn't cringe.
You're cringe.
I know I'm cringe, but I'm free. So I watched it for Netflix, which I mooch off my parents' account, so it was free. So
excellent.
Squad W on the cheapo train. You buying the entire set of Yu Yu Hakusho manga is going to be my next present to myself, because it's good and I want to read it. But I couldn't help myself. I was like, it's only 5 episodes. That sounds so stupid. And it was, and it was a dumb idea. It is a dumb idea, and it really does fundamentally miss so much material. But, like, it was kind of fun, and the fights were good. The fights were good. They made it look like an anime, but with people.
Nope, wrong answer.
Bitch, you should try it.
To Morty jail you go.
You can't use my own meme against him in the same freaking 5
minutes.
I
can. Yes, I can. You know why? Because I prayed to God and he said I could.
No.
That is the end of the show. Thank you for listening. Tune in next week when we do a thing. News?
Next week is news, so it'll just be the two of us.
Just the two of us.
I like that song.
I do too.
Early Will Smith made pretty decent music. It's bad, but it's good. It's slop, but I like it. Collin will not be present for the news because he's a loser and he hates talking about the news, and we've come to a contractual agreement that Collin will never be present for news episodes.
Wasn't that Lionel Richie? Or Marvin Gaye? I think it's an old song. I don't think
maybe the Will Smith thing is a remix.
Maybe.
Or sample.
Yeah, I think it's an older song.
Maybe. I love me some Marvin Gaye, though.
Yes.
Good shit.
You do love yourself some gay.
Yeah.
Not just because he's gay.
He loves to have gay in his ear holes.
That too.
He loves to have gay in all of his orifices.
Speaking of gayness in the ear holes, we want to thank our patrons, Caitlin and Jeff Lawrence. They went to Patreon and gave us money because we asked very politely, and they said okay. They give us money, it helps keep the show running, and we really appreciate the support and could use more, but we're making it work. Because we always go over to Jetpack Comics and Games in downtown Rochester, New Hampshire. I'm trying to do it with my eyes open this time, and it's breaking my brain. It doesn't work. You gotta do it with the eyes closed. We go to Jetpack all the time, we buy our comics, we buy our games, and then we leave, and then we come back the next day and do it all over again. It's an expensive hobby.
Kyle's on a t-shirt now.
Oh, that's dangerous.
I need to get my hands on it.
I need to get my hands on one too.
Collin, have you seen the Kyle sticker at work that someone might have put up?
Dude, you put that thing up like 2 years ago.
I know, I'm so proud of it. Because I'm still there. I use that pisser every day, and I look up every day when I'm having a bad day, and I go, oh.
Kyle's watching over me.
I pray to Saint Kyle.
I pray to Saint Kyle.
As my pee-pee's out.
As my pee-pee's out. Oh my gosh, you have to keep that in.
I'm sending this directly to Kyle.
Please do.
He'll appreciate it. You know what else you could buy at Jetpack Comics and Games in downtown Rochester, New Hampshire?
Drinks?
The Space Adventure
Oh my gosh.
Clutching Godhood Part 1.
Whoa.
On sale now. Get yours before they're gone forever.
Stop making out with the microphone. It's not going to kiss you back. Please send us an email at dimecomicbros@gmail.com. Please subscribe to our Substack. I put a lot of work into it. It looks cool. It shows up in your inbox or on the app every Friday at 9:30 in the a.m. I'm usually still sleeping by then. It's automated. Don't at me. Except last week when it showed up at 9:30 p.m. That sucked.
That was so funny.
It was like 8 o'clock in the afternoon, night, I guess. And I was like, did you get your Substack? Because I didn't. Yeah, I am stupid. Stupids happen. Anything else, Collin?
Nope, go buy my book.
Okay.
On the bright side for Collin, in 2 weeks, we're going to be watching one of the animated Hellboy movies and talking about that.
Those are
Yeah! Yes.
Our patrons get super special access to Happy Hour, which we're going to go record right now.
Booze!
It's more of us talking, and it's funny, because it's not scripted at all.
Because this show is scripted.
A little bit. There's some structure.
I guess.
We put a lot of work into putting structure into this, and Collin worked against it.
No, correction. I put a lot of work into putting structure into it 4 years ago, and then every week we get less and less. But we
because Collin doesn't like it. Collin is a ball of chaos. Collin only lives off of chaos. I cannot have structure.
I'm an agent of chaos.
We are literally the three tiers, like the old D&D graph. Like Collin is somewhere on the chaotic evil or whatever.
No. So we are the three neutrals. I am chaotic neutral. Spencer is lawful neutral, and you are neutral, which is true neutral.
Wow, he just called you Wonder Bread.
Yeah, I am a basic white bitch, I guess.
But you are really good with grilled cheese.